Greetings, YouTube. Last year, someone asked me about my thoughts on this Keystone XL pipeline. And at the time, I told them I didn't know enough about the topic to have an opinion, because I hadn't really heard enough to be able to weigh the difference between the creation of the pipeline and not creating the pipeline. Like, we know that the oil is going to be moved, so which is the best method of moving it? Is the pipeline the best method, or are there other methods? The oil is already being moved, and the oil is being moved by trucks and trains. And having considered the differences between using that method and using a pipeline, I've come to the conclusion that, at least personally, I feel the pipeline is a better option. And I think it's a better option for a number of reasons. Firstly, trucks and trains themselves generate carbon. So to move the hydrocarbons from where they're being processed to where they are needed, you are creating more carbon in the atmosphere. Whereas a pipeline will not do that. It will move the hydrocarbons from point A to point B without that additional carbon. Yes, there will be carbon generated in the process of building the pipeline, but once that's over, it doesn't continue. The trucks and the trains will continually produce carbon in the process. Additionally, the regulations that govern the transportation of hydrocarbons in trucks and trains have already been written. They're done. Getting them changed would be a monumental task. The regulations for the pipeline are not set in stone yet. So if environmentalists really want to make sure that the hydrocarbons are moved in as a safe manner as possible, their best bet is to back the pipeline and just ensure that the regulations on the pipeline are high enough and strict enough and enforced enough that the hydrocarbons are being moved in the most safe way possible. But do not think for a second those hydrocarbons are not going to be moved. They are. They're already being moved. We just have the option of moving them in a safer and less environmentally dangerous method in the pipeline. Yes, I realize it's going to be built through lands that most people don't want a pipeline in. I get it. Like I said, those hydrocarbons are still moving. They're going to continue to move. I think that this is the best method we can come up with to achieve the least impact on the long term on the planet and on the peoples on it. It's not a great solution. It is the least worst of the options. But I think it's a better option than continuing to move it in trucks and trains, which, again, the regulations are much lower because they were written in the past. And we have an opportunity to create regulations that are better on a pipeline. So I'm backing the idea of the pipeline. I realize that means I am running counter to the way many liberal progressives think. And that's okay. I am not a member of a liberal progressive body. I have never received instructions from anyone. I have never taken classes in liberal progressive thought. All of the opinions I have arrived at are my own through my own reading and thinking. It's the way I've always been. I'm a stubborn SOB. I'm looking forward to people telling me what they think. The cost benefit to me says the pipeline's the better option. I would be interested in seeing if someone could show me that my breakdown of the process is wrong. But after much consideration, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't say it can't, but I've thought about this a lot, and I've looked at the situation, and even some of the people who originally opposed the pipeline are now backing it, or at least stepping out of the way, because they realize that this has a lower carbon impact, and the regulations can be more strict and hopefully less dangerous to the environment. So tell me, what do you think about the pipeline?